Hello, fellow fools, and welcome to your timeless pick a pile reading. My name is Bren. I use they, them pronouns, and I will be guiding us all through this very magical card reading psychic experience today. And if you're new here, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to give you a little rundown of how things work here. So at the time of this recording, it is a Libra full moon. So I am going to be informed. This reading's informed by that and what's astrologically kind of happening now and what the vibe of now is. However, like I said at the beginning, it is a timeless reading. So you really can watch this at any time. It could be a new moon. It can be like several years from now, so don't be discouraged if you are drawn to this video. If you clicked on this video, you're probably needing to receive the messages that are here, regardless of whether it's a Libra full moon or not. All right. So the way that this is going to be structured is that I'm going to start with an overview of talking about what the astrological insights of this full moon is. I'm going to start just with like some little astrological background, talk a little bit about Libra, and then from there we're going to do a collective reading. That's where I'm going to pull some cards from both the decks that we're going to be using today to tap into what are the messages that us collectively can be receiving at this moment. And then from there, you can get a little more specific, pick a pile that resonates better with you, and there's going to be further messages for each pile that will hopefully help inform you with the messages that you need at this time. And I had one more thing I was gonna say. Oh yeah, there are timestamps. So if you are really interested in just doing the pick a pile thing, you can scroll to the timestamps to find that. And also, you could watch the whole thing. I recommend watching the whole thing, but if you want to skip around, that's totally fine. Also, number one thing to keep in mind is that your intuition is so powerful. So always trust your intuition first. This is a collective reading, so there might be messages in this video that might not be for you necessarily, but still other messages that are. So definitely use your own discernment and your own intuition on like what messages are there for you to claim, what's there that's not for you to claim. And also if something's just not sitting right with you, you can always go to a different pile, or you could go to a different video. I have a bunch of other pick a pile readings for you. So if this one's not vibing with you for whatever reason, maybe another one will. So I'm just super excited that you're here, and I do work with spirit to try to attract the right people who need to watch these videos at the right time. So again, if you are here, be assured that there's probably some gem in here that you are meant to hear. So without further ado, oh, and I probably should introduce Frank. This is Mr. Frank. She is my beauty queen. She's amazing, and I'm so excited that she's joining us today. I usually record these a little earlier in the morning, and we're in the early afternoon right now, so she's in her nap time era, which I love for her, and so she's going to hang out with us, which is such a privilege. So yes, Mr. Frank, if you want to say hi in the chat, feel free to do that. And without further ado, we are going to talk about the full moon Libra that's happening actually this evening at the time of this recording. But let's talk about Libra. Libra is associated with the scales, so this is a zodiac sign that is about balance. Like, oh, are we imbalanced? How can we bring us back to equilibrium? Is one person giving more than the other? Maybe we can reestablish boundaries or reestablish things to make sure that we are even. They can be considered the peacemakers of the zodiac. And if you know anything about me and how I teach astrology, I always like to see the sibling sign in relation to the zodiac sign that we're talking about in order to understand it fully. So if we're talking about Libra, that's the scales. That's really about relationships. It's also about the cosmic mirror, the reflection that we see through other people. How do we see ourselves through other people? That's very Libra-esque energy. And its sibling sign is Aries. That's where the sun is right now. That's what's illuminating the full moon in Libra at this point. And Aries is all about the self, all about the individual, all about pioneering, going head first into things, thinking later. Whereas again, Libra is more about, hey, let's think about things. Let's be strategic. Let's, is this best for our relationship? Is this, just good for you, or is it good for us? So Libra being really about the establishing the relationship, and Aries being about establishing the self, really. They both are cardinal signs, which means that they are initiators of the zodiac. So they do see that common ground for sure. But Libra is going to be more about initiating relationships. Again, like initiating in a sense of air. It's Libra is the cardinal air sign. So starting things like starting conversations. Air is associated with intellect as well, logic, and it could also be writing and things like that as well. So ideas, that's really what Libra is starting here, is a lot of like ideas. Whereas again, the cardinal fire of Aries is just about like, how do we get life going? It's springtime, at least in the northern hemisphere here. So at the time of this recording, obviously. So that's really about like, how does life form? It has to like work its way out of the ground and like emerge and fight its way to glory. That's very Aries energy here. So those are the two energies that we're working with for this full moon, because again, the sun is currently in Aries and it's illuminating its opposite sibling sign, Libra moon, at the time of this recording. So what does that mean for us? It's also happening at 12 degrees of, Libra, obviously. And so if you have significant points in your natal birth chart around 12 degrees of cardinal signs, so that's going to be Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer, this lunation might feel more impactful for you than if you don't. But also, what was I going to say? I'm feeling the Libra energy. It's very much like a little bit of airhead energy, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But this lunation, I will talk about like the ruler of this lunation, because when we're talking about a Libra full moon, we want to look at the ruler, which is Venus. Venus rules Libra. It also rules Taurus, but that's actually relevant because Venus is currently in Taurus at the time of this lunation. So it's in domicile, which means it's comfortable where it's at. So for this full moon to have a rulership in its domicile, it's pretty flowing energy. It seems like it's naturally moving and those things like that. However, it is currently squaring Pluto in Aquarius at 5 degrees. And it's not like a crazy close square or anything like that, but it's within 3 degrees. And I do just want to point that out because there's just been a lot of transformational change at this point in time. And so Pluto is that planet of like drastic change and upheaval and secrets being revealed, things like that. So it can also have some financial indicators as well. So when we're talking about Venus squaring Pluto, Venus is also literally the planet that rules money and relationships and all those kinds of things. So when it's in a tense aspect with that Pluto, it just seems like there's some big transformational events maybe that are happening, especially with that air sign, like maybe more ideas that are coming to the forefront that we didn't see before. And we're like, oh, well, I want to actually invest my money in these kinds of ways because it's actually going to pay off more, or those things that I used to value, I just don't value anymore. And so it might be an opportunity right now to really reevaluate your finances also when you're sharing them. So if you have a roommate, for example, you share utilities and things like that, but you might notice like, oh, I barely use electricity because I'm more cautious about that, and I'm like not as home as much as my roommate, and my roommate is, you know, getting this energy bill crazy high. You might need to have a conversation, be like, hey, things are not balanced. I'm not feeling like the way that we're splitting bills is fair right now. Can we have a conversation to try to find more equity in the way that our bill share is being shared, obviously. So that's just one example of how this can kind of show up. But, you know, financial reevaluation could definitely be something happening at this time for you. And additionally, it is actually also squaring Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter's been in Cancer for about like 10 months now, and it's going to wrap up its cycle pretty soon, and it's going to move into Leo very shortly. But during this time in Cancer, Cancer is like that sign of nurturing and emotional vulnerability and desire for growth, a lot of emotional desire for growth. And Cancer can also be associated with the home life and family. So it does seem like, you know, the emotional needs of the self and within partnerships could also be at odds with like what's going on in the home life, or what's going on with your emotional security, because you might have to have like hard conversations in order to have a more secure emotional connection with someone. But it might be, you know, you might have to disturb the peace at first to then restore the peace. This is something that I like to say a lot about Libra, is like, you know, sometimes keeping the peace isn't keeping the peace, because if you just keep not saying something that's bothering you, that's disrupting your inner self, and it's disrupting your, you know, you could be building resentment for someone because you want to keep the peace by just not saying anything or just letting things go. But if it's really bothering you so much to the point that it's aggravating you and it's making you build resentment, that's when we have to quote unquote disturb the peace by having, again, a hard conversation or addressing things in order to restore the balance that our Libra selves are really craving at this time. So don't be afraid to have those hard conversations, especially when it comes to money, especially when it comes to your living situation, and also family desires, family needs, and things like that. We do have a pretty big pile up right now of Aries energy. We have the Aries sun, obviously, or sun in Aries at this time, but we also have Saturn and Neptune also in Aries at the time of this lunation. So there's just a lot of like opposition to this Libra energy. So just taking some time at this time to slow down if you can. And you know, this Aries energy really wants us to get started and wants us to take action, but we still do have Pisces Mars, Pisces Mercury energy going on in the sky as well. Pisces is not as action oriented as Aries is, so really trust your intuition about like when to take action on things and what can wait, because it seems like with all that Aries, it's like, let's get things started, like let's go. Whereas the Pisces is kind of saying like, yes, intuitively feel where you need to take action, but also we're not in full throttle yet. So we're kind of getting like different messages from different planets in the zodiac right now, where it's like, okay, let's get going. It's time to go. It's go time, blah, blah, blah. But then also intuitively, like, are we just going to go, or are we going with a destination in mind? Okay, so if that's all resonating with you, that means that this reading is probably very likely to be serving you in some kind of way today. So we're going to now move on to the collective reading portion. I'm going to first introduce the decks that we're working with today. The tarot deck we're going to be working with is the Guardian Angel Tarot card deck. And the reason I picked this deck is just because it looks very Libra energy, at least the box. It's just, there's roses, it's beautiful, it's pink, it's harmonious, and you can never really go wrong with angels. Angel messages are pretty high frequency, and just what can really protect us through this time that seemed relevant for us. And that deck is associated with this rose quartz that I brought for us today. So just very pink, light, heart chakra energy coming through for that deck. And the other deck that we're going to be using today is the Animal Power deck. And this is an oracle deck that is about animals. So very relatable to like most people for sure. And the crystal that I chose to accompany that is this Ammonite, and it is a fossil technically, but it's really associated with a lot of ancestry and connecting with those who came before us. So that it kind of makes sense to join that with the Animal Power deck, just because we are all related. We are all connected in some kind of way. So the wisdom that we can not only get from our animal selves, but from our animal, see, like Frank came in clutch today, just like other organisms that are not only just family where we descend from, but the descendants that we literally share this planet with seemed important for this reading today. So without further ado, we're going to start drawing some cards. We're going to start with the Guardian Angel deck. Oh, and we've got a few cards that really want to be spoken to, but you know, we got to get some clarity. I want a clear answer. We've got a clear card right there. And the card that's coming through is 0. This is the Fool card. I'm pretty sure this is the Fool card in tarot, if you know about the Fool. And if you're on this channel, you know I have a special connection with the Fool because we are all fools here on this great journey of life. And so it says, a new beginning. You're at the beginning of a wonderful journey. There's no need to have any fear as guardian angels walk beside you every step of the way. You have unique gifts to offer the world if you will just free yourself from that which holds you back. New opportunities will present themselves if you truly believe. Wow. That is a really nice card to receive, especially again during this time of like, it's spring and new beginnings, all these things. And it seems like maybe new relationships might also be budding, like new thought patterns, new ways of approaching problems that could be very liberating for us, which is super needed at this time. We are literally birthing a brand new world. And so for us to remember that through the chaos, there's a lot of blessings in that. That's something really important to remember. And also knowing that just because you've been doing things a certain way, or because life has taught you things a certain way, your ancestors, your family told you like, oh, this is just the way we do things. This is really about breaking free and being like, well, why though? If it doesn't make sense anymore, like I'm not going to do it like that anymore. Like I'm kind of envisioning someone at work who's getting trained, and then their like colleagues who's training them is just saying like, just do it this way. This is how it's taught. This is procedure. Just do it that way. But then you find a way that's so much easier, and it's like, okay, you can train me that way, but when I actually do the work, I'm going to do it my way because it's more efficient. It just makes more sense, and I'm going to be more productive that way, and I'm going to feel better about my work that way. So I do feel like this is probably every area of life, but it can be a lot of different, like it can show up in different ways, these new beginnings. So I just gave you an example of how it can show up at work, but also like in a relationship, for example, maybe you've been dating someone for a while, and I'm speaking from personal experience here. This person I've been dating, we've had a lot of like hiccups, and we've had a lot of struggles and problems. And then recently, we haven't had any problems at all. It seems like a lot of the stuff that was problematic at the beginning of our connection was just foundationally being like, oh, well, this is what's going to have to happen for us to be together. And now that we've kind of navigated these issues, even though I'm kind of anxious all the time, like, oh, are we going to fight again? Or is there going to be a problem again? We haven't had an issue for a long time because we've had these new mindsets of like approaching the relationship like, oh, we don't have to be fighting all the time. There's nothing to actually fight about. And just because fighting might be comfortable for me, just because it's what I know, I don't actually want to fight. So why can't I just enjoy this moment with this person that I care about? So that's like an example of like how to like rebrand your own thought patterns and your own behaviors within a relationship. And also, if you're looking for a relationship, this could also be a really good promise of like a new friendship, a new romantic endeavor, maybe a new pet even that might be entering your life. And like, I was not expecting to adopt Frank when I did a few months ago, and it's literally been the biggest blessing of my life, even though she literally threw up on my bed yesterday morning. It's okay. We're in spring cleaning mode anyway, and I did get scratched up because I freaked out when that happened, and so did she. And we both apologized. It's all good. We obviously are buddies now. But yeah, just new beginnings on like ways of thinking about things. And also it's interesting that came up yesterday too, because I was really disappointed in how I showed up when Frank threw up on my bed, because I was immediately into like, I literally was transported back in time to like my parents, and when things like this would happen, I literally behaved how they would have reacted, which was very dramatically. I yelled, and I also was a little like physically aggressive even. I like picked her up and I was like, no, you can't do this. This is not okay. But then she gave me this huge wake up call, which was like scratching me up basically. And she was really scared, and I felt so bad for her. She didn't understand that, like, you don't throw up on a bed. She didn't really understand what I was saying. I was just mad at her, and so it brought me back to my own childhood and being like, whoa, I'm acting how my caregivers had acted in a situation, and it actually brought me fear. It didn't actually help mitigate the behavior that much. And so after that, when I was cleaning, I was like, dang, I need to also clean up my behavior. And so I apologized, and I really made a commitment to myself and to Frank to be like, you know what, if we have an issue like that, I'm not going to yell like I did. And I'm not going to be physically in your face and things like that when things happen, because that's, again, it's not effective. And I really want to be breaking a cycle that I thought was also harmful growing up. It's really not fun when you see what you don't like in other people, in yourself. And so this new beginning, I do believe, is a promise for all of us. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall into old patterns, but we're really making the new grooves for this new pattern. So just address it and make sure that we are making a commitment to breaking the patterns that are no longer useful for us. Okay. And also just demonstrating, I was really grateful that Frank also extended me forgiveness, because there was things within me that I was really afraid that, oh my gosh, maybe I just scared Frank so much that she will no longer trust me anymore. And our trust has been broken and I feel so bad, all these things. But, I literally apologized to her like I would a human, and she's cuddled up with me and we're fine. We're fine. And so I don't want to betray her trust by, again, reacting in ways that are not in alignment with relationships. That's another thing to remember about Libra, is it's about fostering relationships. So what are you doing in this moment in time to foster positive growth in relationships, rather than playing into cycles that might not be useful for building a healthy relationship? And again, having a healthy relationship doesn't mean that you're just going to be super kind to someone all the time, because sometimes you do need to get upset and you need to show your emotions to someone to be like, no, that was not okay. But you don't need to yell at someone and be physical with someone in order for them to hear you. So just know that your emotions are valid and that can come out. And it's really not about the tear in relationships. It's about the repair. So it's okay to make mistakes. Just know that it's really about the action that comes after that. Okay. Wow. I really love that. And again, this is for all relationships. This can be with a parent. This can be with a friend. Maybe you don't want to be as close friends with someone anymore, because it's just I'm regressing so much around that person. I feel like I'm on this growth journey, but then when I'm with this other person, I feel not empowered, and I feel like I'm not showing up as my best self. And it's okay to also take space from people. So I've drawn 2 animal power cards here. One is going to be, this one's going to be you, and this one's going to be the other. This is the mirror, and this is you. So you are the dragonfly, which is all about taking new directions. And when I was originally learning about animal medicine, or animal wisdom, wisdom we can gain from animals, I learned from a Native American deck. And dragonflies symbolized a lot about the dream world as well. It's giving very Piscean energy to me. Taking new directions. So you are literally the Fool. You are literally taking new directions. And I do think that's informed by what you've been dreaming of. And that can be literal, what you are sleeping and dreaming of, but also just what are you envisioning for yourself? And I've been receiving this message that your dreams are definitely able to come true, but just remember that sometimes your dreams don't always come into fruition in ways that you imagined, but they might even be better. So don't be disappointed if something happens. I just had this really big birthday party. I just turned 30, and so I put on a show for my loved ones to have a big dirty flirty 30, and it honestly went so well. It went really great. The things that I was worried about didn't happen, technical issues or all of the biggest things that I was worried about, they all were fine. But then I realized that I was it didn't go perfectly as I had imagined, and I didn't feel how I thought I would feel. And so that ended up being kind of disappointing in certain ways. But honestly, looking back, it was exactly as it needed to be, and it was perfect. And my disappointments, like, especially with like, oh, certain people didn't come, or like whatever, it's like, it's okay, it's really fine. My intention was for it to do what it needed to be, for it to be what it needed to be, and I need to just accept that all the things that I perceive as imperfections must have happened for a reason. And also, it's making me more clear about the relationships in my life too. Like, who showed up for me? There were so many people who showed up for me, and why am I not focusing on that? And why am I instead nitpicking all the things that I wish would have happened, or how stressed I was because it was so much going on? And so just remember that the wisdom of the dragonfly that I think is flying in to tell you right now is that your dreams are literally unfolding as we speak. They are coming true, but don't be discouraged if it's not the exact vision that you perceived, because it could be better. And in fact, there's just a lot of things that we just don't know. Even if your exact perfect dream came true, it still probably wouldn't be as satisfying as you would think it would be. So just take what's happening right now, take what's unfolding right now as a blessing, and that it's needed for there's more to come for sure. Because I do see this moment that we're in as like a hardship in a way of like, we're really planting the seeds, and now we're like doing the work to like grow out of like all of the dirt. It's growing pains, and we just need to remember that as we take these new directions, and as we grow, and as we start these new beginnings, it does come at a cost of something. We have to release the past, or we're outgrowing, but also just know that during like the hardest times can be the best of times. So you might look back at this phase of your life with rose-colored glasses at some point, like, wow, those were literally the best of times. But as you are in it right now, you're like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so stressed. I'm just not vibing, So just remember, there's a lot of blessings in the mess of what's happening right now that a future version of you will be reminiscing delightfully on. So try to enjoy it as much as possible with where you're at. All right, what is being reflected back to you is the eagle, and it says, trust your highest vision. Trust your highest vision. And so I am seeing this as the other. Again, I've never really done a reading like this before, but I'm an intuitive, so that's how we roll. We just go with it. So if you're the one taking new directions, and the highest version of the other is about trusting your highest vision, I would say that the people in your life right now who are really truly honoring you are going to be offering you clarity and encouragement. Those are the two key words, is clarity and encouragement. The people who you really trust in your life, like if they say something like, oh, are you sure? Like, you always wanted that thing, but now you're like, well, okay with settling with that. Like, are you sure? Maybe you should listen to them, because they care about you. And if they are worried about you making a decision that's against your own dreams and your own well-being, they're probably trying to help guide you in the right direction so you don't miss out on an opportunity that's meant for you, because they care about you, and they maybe see things from a higher perspective, like a bird's eye view in your life, because they're not so close to you. Sometimes they don't know everything because they are not you, and they aren't as close as you. But I do see the people in your life offering you a lot of clarity with where to go. So like, who are the people showing up for your birthday party? Those are the people you should probably listen to. Don't listen to the people who didn't show up and didn't even say anything about it, So I do see the people in your life who truly care about you. They're going to offer you some really honest things. Also, I do see, like, in this moment of time, like, just clarity around certain relationships too. Like, who's growing with you, who's empowering you, who's like wanting you to succeed, and who's like willing to invest in you to help you succeed, and who's not. Who is falling away? Who is disappointing you time after time, even though you've given them so many chances? Like, this is the time to really relinquish, like, I'm seeing again, like, investment of time is important. So stop investing in people who are not investing in you, and start investing more into people who are investing in you. because if you might notice that if you stop investing in someone, they just fall away and like they disappear because they were never interested in investing in you more anyway, you know? And again, it doesn't mean that people are evil or whatever. Like some people just grow apart. It's okay. And you never know, you might grow back together. But what I see in all three of these cards, I guess it's supposed to go like this. They all have flight, like wings. Every single card in this has wings. And so I think we all are being invited right now to fly. Something that maybe we always wanted to do, but we never thought we could. And now that we are actually in the moment of being able to fly, because we've been ground bound for so long, we might feel scared to fly, even though that's what we've always wanted. This is really, I think the biggest message coming through for us collectively is the things that you want are coming true. How do you actually receive them? Can you receive them? Because you might be getting opportunities. You might get this huge raise at work that you definitely deserve, but you're just like, this is such a big bump. Like, I don't know if I'm worthy of that. Like, are you sure? You know, don't second guess yourself when opportunities come, because you're going to miss out on what you deserve. So just really be ready to receive. Stay humble, obviously. I mean, that's a new beginning. You're going to make mistakes. Like, we have no idea what's coming ahead. But the more that you're able to receive, the more that you're going to be able to actually live the life that you were meant to and live the life that you desire. But if you keep rejecting your blessings, the universe is just going to be like, oh, I guess you don't really want your blessings, so I'm not going to keep serving you opportunities to receive that because you're not taking them, you know? So receive. That's the big word for us today, which is super, super lovely, especially with right now, Venus and Taurus. It's all about enjoying the fruits of the earth and relationships and just what the good things of life has to offer. The weather where I'm at has been absolutely beautiful lately. And I like spending time outside has been such a privilege. And, you know, summer's going to come. It's going to not be so nice to walk outside and things like that. So taking advantage of what's right here, right now in front of you. What is that yummy goodness that you can really fully receive and not be so distracted on like what's next or all the tasks that you have to do? Like, what is happening right now? How can you fully take it in and enjoy it fully? Because it's fleeting. So enjoy it while it's here. Alrighty, my friends. Well, that concludes our group reading there. And without further ado, we're going to now go into the pick a pile section of this reading. So if you want to be pile number 1, you're going to choose this Doreen Virtue Guardian Angel Tarot card deck and this rose quartz. It is a rough rose quartz, so it's got a lot of like rough edges. Rose quartz symbolizes, again, the heart chakra, relationships, love, all those good things. So if that's resonating with you, you will be pile number 1. And if you would like something a little less traditional, we can go with the Oracle deck, which is the Animal Power Oracle deck. We're going to be drawing some animals, see what wisdom that they have for you. And the crystal or mineral, it's really a fossil, that is going to accompany this pile is the Ammonite. Again, if you want to do maybe a little bit of ancestral work, going back to your roots, just revisiting the past, that's what Ammonite offers. That will be pile number 2. So without further ado, let's start with pile number 1. Pile number 1, you are pile number 1 if you chose the Guardian Angel deck and this beautiful rose quartz. And I am seeing relationship energy for this deck, specifically in this pile, specifically this group. The relationship that you have with yourself, the relationship that I am really feeling like a lot of ancestral stuff too, like how we show up in other relationships and our adult relationships are really characterized and like colored by the relationships that we had in our upbringing. Like, could we trust our caregivers when growing up? And like right after that, I'm getting like a dry throat. So I wonder if there's something karmically that this group is breaking right now, especially when it comes to relationships and how we view relationships now, as opposed to what we were taught or trained to view relationships when we were children. And so the goal of this reading is to help you align closer with how to have the healthiest relationships, setting appropriate boundaries, and just having like authentic love. And I am feeling romance as part of it, but it's also like the love that we have with our chosen family, our friends, the love that we have with our even blood family, even if we don't fully agree with them or don't always, vibe with them. Every family is different, and some people are much closer to certain family members than others, but I've been reading this ancestry book too, which is probably why as well. Well, and I just blame Cancer or Jupiter in Cancer right now, just going to our roots and really visiting our ancestry and the family specifically, and how the family impacts literally everything else. Like that home environment, that first nucleus of our home environment, literally paving the way for literally everything else. How we feel valued at work, how we feel valued in relationships, how we interact with people, how we get triggered, all of those things. And what this book is talking about is like how we can't fully blame one person for all of our problems. Like say you had a really rough childhood, and so you blame your mom for like all of your upbringing things. What this book argues is basically that like, yes, she is responsible for a lot of that. However, she was also a product of her upbringing and like her environment that may have influenced her to be the way that she was. And also you, as you grow up, you have to take ownership over, your traumas and be like, am I going to continue to be a victim forever and never grow and never, overcome this? Or do I acknowledge that I have been a victim, and that I want to then empower myself to evolve and break out of that in order to have a healthier life, have a healthier lifestyle, and have healthier relationships. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about like yesterday when I was so upset at Frank for throwing up on my bed. I was like raging out, and I was like not my highest self. I honestly was very surprised at how I showed up, because I haven't seen myself like that. I've seen, again, my caregivers in childhood do that. And so for me to show up like that, I was like, whoa, I'm just reenacting something that I've seen. It doesn't have to be who I am, and it doesn't have to be a continuous behavior with me. So I do see this group really, where's that rose quartz? Yeah. Taking the moment to really love themselves and be honest with themselves and be like, you know what? I was in situations where I was not honored appropriately, and you might have even let yourself down. I let myself down pretty much more than anyone I know, not on purpose, but just because I don't always feel worthy of speaking up for myself, and I don't always have the energy to do that, or I don't always realize it until later, like, oh, I could have really advocated for myself better in that moment. And part of growing up really is about realizing that no one's going to save you except for you. No one really can save you in certain ways except for you. And of course, we can have people in our lives who advocate for us and who help us get there and all those things. But, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. And it's the same with us. Like someone can help us, lead us to water, but if we are refusing to drink, then we're going to be dehydrated emotionally and psychologically. So I do feel like an immense amount of love in this group. In fact, it's kind of making me emotional. And so if you have a loved one who recently passed, or someone you feel, I definitely feel like they're here saying hello. Yeah, now I'm getting more emotional. So I feel like that's definitely true, especially with the guardian angel deck. Whoever you feel is your guardian angel, they're definitely here helping deliver this message right now. I just feel a lot of pure love and light and forgiveness and levity. Like we don't have to be so hard on ourselves for making mistakes. We don't have to be hard on ourselves for seeing things within ourselves that we don't like. We are only human, and being human is so divine. You know, we have that divinity within us, we have the animal within us, and us uniting them both is a privilege and a gift. So remember that on this earthly journey, that it's all about everything. It's all about the highs. It is about the lows. It's about all of it together. That's what colors our world. And I think that's the second time I've said that. There's a lot of color. And I feel like for a lot of us, maybe life has been a lot of black and white. And now that we're seeing color, it's the Wizard of Oz. Like, oh my gosh, there's this whole new magical world. What's the possibility now because of that? So I feel like I'm getting a little derailed here. So I already drew 2 cards. I usually draw 3. There's 2 that were drawn. And so I think what I'm going to do is also look at the bottom of this deck to see what overarching themes your guardian angel wants to tell you. And you can have more than one guardian angel. I feel like I have several actually, and different ones of them speak to me at different times. Like I have a literal, like I feel like Frank here, my kitty cat, is one of my guardian angels for sure. An earth angel, and I have a lot of earth angels I feel in my life, but there's also like literal like Archangel Michael. He's like my number 1 angel that I love working with, and the other archangels, there's 4 of them total, but also I see my maternal grandmother who passed away as like my number 1 guardian angel as well. So you can decide who you're receiving this message from, or maybe it's just a general entity. That's totally fine as well. But the message that is being shared from them is letting go. It's number 13. And I'm pretty sure that this card is Temperance in the tarot deck, because this tarot deck kind of has like a different language for it. So 13, letting go. And if we're talking about no, it's not Temperance. I'm thinking about justice. And justice is, but I don't think that's justice. Actually, this might be the devil. But anyway, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because the message that I'm getting is it's associated with Libra. It's about balance. 13, letting go. And it reads this: releasing the past can seem like a challenge, but it can also be liberating. Your angels will help you let go so that you can fly higher than ever before. Endings always herald new beginnings. Choose to allow the situation to lead you to a more joyful life. Change your life by changing your thoughts. Wow, that's super powerful. Change your life by changing your thoughts. And I do feel like that is a big theme and message for this whole recording today. But if you, especially going back to the collective reading, starting new, you can only leap into something new by letting things go. And so I'm seeing you, like, I do see you letting someone go. Is it a breakup? Are you breaking up with someone? Is it a friend? Are you just like letting go of your idea of someone? Because it also could be like, you know, always longing for your parent or your mother to show up in a certain way. And just letting go of like, you know what? I'm never going to get that from her. That's not what she can offer me. Like, you're trying to get ice cream from a hardware shop, you know? And so don't cling on to something so tightly that, again, like, it keeps you from having like a nicer relationship with someone. Because like, if you can really let go of, you know, your mom not being able to provide certain kinds of things for you that you've always wanted, if you can let that go, you might be able to receive what she can give to you. If she is that hardware shop, you know, she can give you tools. She can give you, you know, a whole bunch of resources. But if you're always wanting ice cream from her, she's never going to give that to you. And so you're just going to always be feeling that lack. So I do feel like this card, what your angels are trying to tell you, what your guardian is trying to tell you, your higher self, is that in order for this new beginning to really take root and for you to flourish and for you to feel fulfilled with where you're going, there's certain things that need to be released. And that can also be certain dreams. It's like, oh, wow, I'm getting older. Like, I guess I'm never going to be an Olympian. I always wanted to be an Olympian, but it just, my clock's ticking. It's just not going to happen. You know, if you can let that go, you're going to be so liberated in ways that you never knew. And then you can really invest in new dreams, because it does seem like you're trying to do this and that and this, and you're trying to reach for it all, but you only have limited energy. So what you could be giving one thing full force, you're just diluting through all these other things that aren't even meant for you and are not even possible anymore. And I do think this is part of our past that we have to let go of as well. It's like, dang, I really wanted to have kids, or oh, I really wanted to have a certain kind of relationship with my lover, but maybe you and your lover that you have right now, you and your partner, you really want kids and they don't, and you've been together for a while and it's like the clock's ticking. It's like, if you really want that dream, then you need to make a move. You need to let go of that relationship in order to have that kid dream. Or maybe you let go of the kid dream in order to be with that partner because that is proving to you to be more important. Like it's really about, it does seem like certain things need to be sacrificed in order for you to fully fly. I do, again, going back to the beginning with all the wings, like all the overall reading, it's like, don't clip your own wings by like having too much baggage on you. Like if you are trying to take a new direction, this dragonfly, but you are still holding the cocoon that created you, and you're just like, no, I can't let go of this cocoon. It's part of my history. It's part of my past. It's who I am. It's like, well, then you're never going to fly. You're never going to see what else is possible just because you're clinging so much to what was. And I see this in like certain ways too. Like maybe you were always like, you loved doing an activity. You always liked roller skating, and now you're just like, I just don't care about it anymore. But I used to identify, like, everyone knows me. Like my Instagram handle is like the roller skating king or whatever. It's like, you can rebrand yourself at any time. Just because you were something in the past doesn't mean that you need to be taking that with you forever. Just because you were the roller skating king doesn't mean that you always have to be the roller skating king. Maybe this next thing, if you abandon that, you're just like, I'm really done with it, honestly. Like, I don't find enjoyment anymore. And you start doing something else, like you start gardening or something. You can be the gardening king, you know, and maybe people will then, like, in even a few years from now, will know you only as that. It's so funny how much of your history can just kind of get erased or like forgotten just because there's just certain phases for certain things. So just know that you're not set in stone with where you're at now. And you don't need to cling on to something just because you defined yourself by that thing, by that relationship, by that hobby, by that whatever, in the past. You're evolving, and it can be really scary to let go of what you knew because of it's what you knew. And it's a lot more challenging to be like pioneering something new for yourself. But just know that the rewards seem really great if you can let go. And it really seems like you're not letting go of anything of true value, I should say, anyway. Like if you do leave that cocoon behind, it's like that cocoon literally has no use for you anymore. It served its purpose. It incubated you. Now you're flying. So you don't need to hold on to the cocoon anymore. Like that literally can also maybe serve, I don't know what happens to cocoons afterwards, but I'm sure there's another organism that can benefit from that, you know? So you're really not letting go of anything of true value. Even if it's a relationship, it's like, wow, I'm really grateful for that relationship. And now it's outserved its purpose. And now we can both go our separate ways with joy, you know, and we can come back to each other if it ever feels appropriate. But right now I need to be free. I need to be liberated. And it's really about finding that balance between the Aries and the Libra of like Aries, that independent, like, what do you want? Apart from anyone else, what do you want? And then the Libra can be bringing in people too. It's like, okay, how is it that what I want, how can what I want help other people? How can what I want help other people get what they want? That is what we're trying to get to in this moment. Because you getting what you want is not selfish. It's just, how can we get what we want while also helping other people get what they want? You know, it's like, it's a win-win. You getting what you want can be what someone else wants, you know? And I'm pretty sure I've talked about that in recent readings as well. So if you want more about that, you can dive into other readings. But I do want to, I feel like some of your guardian angels are kind of chatterboxes. So we're going to redirect. We have two more cards. We're going to say, This first card is what we're bringing in, what we want to continue to bring into ourselves, into our souls, what we want to invest in. And the second card is going to be like what we're going to continue to let go of. Okay. What we're bringing in, oh my gosh. It's the Ace of Emotion. Oh, the Ace of Emotion. And there's a beautiful cherub here. It looks like it's like like Cupid almost. An Ace of Emotion translates to the Ace of Cups, which is all about an overflowing cup, new beginnings, all that stuff. So what you're bringing in right now, a lot of new beginnings, new relationships, new ways of emotionally relating, new ways of feeling emotionally vulnerable in a safe way, those kinds of things. And what it says here is, this cherub is announcing that a wonderful new emotional experience is coming into your life. You may meet someone new who makes your heart flutter, or your current relationship will experience an awakening. Reawakening. Yeah. It's also possible that your intuitive abilities will be greatly increased by your open heart. Wow. That is really nice. So yeah, that's what we're bringing in, is just more like emotional openness. And you never know, like by you being vulnerable emotionally with someone, you just never know what might open up other people's doors. Like I know a lot of people like to keep to themselves, especially around strangers, but you never know, like if you just compliment someone at the store that you don't know, like, hey, I love your nails. Hey, I love your outfit. You look in swag. You know, you never know how that might totally change someone's day or help you feel better about yourself too. So just know that the more that you're open, the more that you can receive. And I think that's kind of going back to that beginning message of the collective about like, how can we be more open to receiving? It's about also be opening to initiating in like casual but meaningful ways. One of my favorite memories of all time, and I had never even met this person, I don't know them, but I was in a car and I was driving and I just looked over at this passenger in this other car and I just did this. I just like sup. I just nodded my head up and they did it too. And it literally was the best. Like we both felt so cool. We both felt like, well, I don't know what they felt really, but like we both were like, I felt like the energy of like, wow, it was just so beautiful. It was just really meaningful moment. And that was like, I think over a decade now. And now I do that actually pretty regularly. If I'm like next to someone or if they're like dancing in their car, I'll dance with them, you know, and it's kind of awkward in a way, but it's also just a temporary moment and it brings a little bit more joy. And you just never know how that ripple effect can impact you. Because even you just feeling that moment of giddiness, that moment of glee in that moment, and that other person too, you just never know how it can shift. It's like the butterfly effect, right? It's like you just never know how that can shift things in your favor or just make you feel good enough to like be able to tackle the day, you know? So I think that's really beautiful. I love an Ace of Emotions to come up for what we're bringing in. That's really nice. Okay. And also maybe just being more emotionally vulnerable too. Like you never know, like you telling someone like, dang, like it actually really bothers me that this happens. And I know it's like not that big of a deal, but it really bothers me. And you just never know. Like they might be like, oh my God, it bothers me too. I've been meaning to say something, but I just thought it was so insignificant. And you just never know how the little things or just being emotionally vulnerable or emotionally honest with people can bring us together more. Okay. Oh, and you see Frank's reaching for the rose quartz. Loving this. Yeah, you want to reach for the love too. You want to receive that too, huh, love bug? All right, what are we being invited to release and let go of at this time? And it says 4 of emotion. Okay. Here, I'll show you the card. 4 of emotion. It's like this lady sitting, pondering or something, and this guy is kind of like coming up to her. It seems like he's making an offer to her romantically, and she's just like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. So it says, the 4 of emotion also translates to the 4 of cups. So I am seeing like you have opportunities, but not all of them should be consuming your time. don't waste your time with something that, yeah, is not really filling your cup. So it says here, there are wonderful people who wish to help you. Opportunities are being offered to you, but you aren't noticing or trusting the gifts heaven is bestowing upon you. Look around you. Daydreaming or going within is a healthy way to get clarity as long as you act upon your dreams. Interesting. So when I'm feeling for this, especially as we're trying to release something, it does seem like, I don't know, what it's saying is kind of different than what I was originally feeling, which is like, there's a lot of opportunities around you that actually are not for you, so release it, you know? But this is also saying there's a lot of people who want to help you. So I think it's twofold. I think part of what you need to release is the fact, or like any feeling of you feeling like you're a burden to other people who want to help you. That's what needs to be released. Because if someone offers to open a door for you and you say no, like you're rejecting someone who wants to help you. Like, don't do that. Even if you don't need it, why not just receive it just to see what it would be like? Like, you're not a burden to people. And especially if someone's offering you something, like, yeah, sometimes we offer things that we don't actually mean, but also if you offer it, you offered it. So receive it. And also just, I think it's twofold. Yeah. Frank's like pawing at the rose quartz more. It's not for you to eat, my dear, but if you want to explore that, you go for it. You like that? Well, and she's pawing at it with her left paw, which is all about receiving love too. So I feel like this is really about releasing any blockages that you might have about receiving love. Like, is it an unworthiness issue? Is it because your parents made you think that you were a burden growing up by asking for what you needed? Like, there's so many things that there's so many ways that we sometimes reject our own blessings. So I really see this as like a self-focused release here. It's like, what are these are some journal prompts if you wanted to, journal about it. Like, what are ways that I block my own blessings? In what ways have I refused help when it was offered to me? Things like that. And also, like, who in my life right now is actually someone who can help me with certain things, And Frank here is getting so curious, so I'm kind of wanting to see where she goes. She might just leave. I hope she doesn't. Stay with me, baby. It's her nap time, and I'm just talking all through her nap time. She doesn't love that. But maybe there's also companions that, like animal companions or plant companions that you have that are they're helping you and you don't even acknowledge them. I think this is also just a card about like acknowledging what you do have and releasing any lack mindset about like what you don't have. So yeah, this is really lovely. So all in all, the big message is to continue letting go of things that aren't serving you in order for you to have this new beginning. What you want to invite in are like things that make you feel emotionally full, emotionally fulfilled. And what you want to let go of is any doubts about you deserving those things, and just getting rid of any behaviors that you have that are keeping you from receiving what you want. You're blocking your own blessings sometimes, and we want to get rid of that habit. So that's what we're trying to release here. Yeah. Okay. The last thing we're going to do for pile number 1s here is to get a good luck charm out of the good luck chicken. We've got a chicken bowl here with a bunch of good luck charms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomly pick a charm. I'm not looking. I'm not really feeling anything. I just see what like kind of resonates with me. Oh my gosh. And I've never drawn this one before. This is a God die. It is, some of the words have been rubbed off in some ways, but this was actually a gift given to me by a client who is in AA. And I'm not really like a big believer in like religious things or anything, but I do believe that God can be found within all of us. You know, we all have certain like godliness about us, and at the end of the day, we are the creators of our own lives. So in a way, we are the gods of our own reality in our own ways too. So I feel like this dice is inviting us, like the good luck is coming from like, you roll the dice, it's going to be the same every time. It's you, basically. Like, what does God mean to you? You roll it, it's every time. Although one of these, it does look kind of like cod. Doesn't look like God. Oop, I'm just like, the dice is flying anywhere. But I do see like the message of this good luck dice is like, roll a dice, see what happens. Like, your destiny is something that you write for sure, but also sometimes it's going to be the same outcome no matter what you choose. You might choose, it's kind of like one of those pick your own adventure books. It's like you might pick one like option, but then it's going to redirect you in where you need to be anyway. So don't be afraid of taking some bold moves, or not taking a bold move if you're not feeling it, because it does seem like you're going to be directed where you need to be and who you need to be around at the right time. So I would say like chill out a little bit. That's going to be your good luck, is like not trying to have the reins on everything, because yes, control what you can, but also at the end of the day, life is in God's hands. Everything's in God's hands. So surrender to that, and you may feel a bit more ease about where you're going. Yeah, this is so lovely. So that wraps up our reading together. Thank you all so much for watching. It has been an absolute pleasure and blessing to do this reading for you. If you really liked it, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, even leave a comment if you want to chat about like something that you got out of this reading, or something you noticed, or share any of your own life experience. It is a Libra full moon, so it's all about socializing, and I would love to hear from you. And it's always nice to hear from people. I'm just talking to a camera at this point, you know, but if you engage, you let me know who you are. Like it just makes it seem more of like a balanced two-way thing rather than just a one-way thing, which is fine too. I'm surrendering to that, but I would love to hear from you. If you also feel like a friend might benefit from these readings, please make sure you share this channel with them as well. I'm always looking for more people to share my insights with. And if you really want to get deeper and have something more personalized and get more specific messages for you, I do private readings. I can do always psychic. You can choose astrology or tarot. It's up to you. It's kind of all in one bundle. But you can book with me here in Denver, Colorado at Confiat Collective, or you can book a virtual reading with me on my website, fortuneofthefool.com. You can find all of that information in the show notes, my friend. And without further ado, yes, thank you so much. Happy full moon, and stay foolish. Alrighty. Now let's clear the table. We're going to clear the table so we can be ready for pile number 2. Alrighty, and without further ado, welcome pile number 2s. You are a pile number 2 if you chose this animal power deck, accompanied by this Ammonite fossil. And again, like, when I'm thinking about this Ammonite fossil, it's really about like reflecting on our past and overcoming or evolution even, and also maybe legacy as well, because like this Ammonite existed thousands of years ago, and yet it's still here. It's still present. It's still, here. So if legacy is resonating with you, this pile's for you. If familial burdens or like familial things are resonating with you, this also, like even like breaking emotional or breaking familial cycles, this pile would be for you. You guys keep getting 2 cards coming out, so I'm going to do the same kind of thing I did for pile number 1, which is we're going to have 2 cards here, and then we're going to have an overall message at the bottom of the deck here. We're going to start with the overall message, and for the last group we did, it was an angel group, so it was like a message from your higher self or your guardian angel, things like this. And this is going to be kind of similar. So if you feel like you relate to a certain guardian angel of some kind, this message can be from them. This can be from your higher self. This can be like just from a passed on loved one. You can choose that now, or you can keep it open, but just know that whatever this overall message is, it's coming from a being that has your highest interest in mind. And I will say too, Frank left for your group. I'm sorry, Kitty Cat Frank is decided to leave during the last group. So not that you don't have that feline energy, but maybe it's less relevant for you if that has any meaning for you. Frank has left the building. Well, actually, Frank is at the window now, but left the screen viewing. So if that, I feel like that is going to have some personal meaning for someone. So I just wanted to shout that out there. But without further ado, the overall message is the leech. It says, shift from fear to love. Wow. And what a great way to like see a leech, because when I first see leech, and it has a special card behind it too, which is leopard, embrace your uniqueness. So you actually got a double message here. So the hidden is the leopard. Oh, and they're both blue, which is really interesting, but they have different font colors. And also the leopard is actually the deck art at the front too. So it's a card I actually have never picked before. So love that for us. Let's talk about the leech. My first inclination is to say like there's something leeching your energy and it needs to go. So whatever is like draining you, it either needs to go or it needs to be redirected, because sometimes a draining is good. Like in the old days, they used leeches to suck out toxic blood and replace it with pure blood or something like that. I am not a an ancient doctor here, so I don't know for sure, but I am seeing like it doesn't have to be a bad thing to be drained, but how about we drain things that need to be drained? You know, if you have like, one of my favorite things to do is like, oh, pinch a zit, and then you drain the pus, and it's just like, oh, it hurts so good, you know? So I am feeling like there's something that's being sucked away from you. Don't let it be something of value. Like, let it be something that you don't care about, you know? So maybe you need to get rid of some things in your house. Maybe there's, you have kids, they're leeches in their own way. And like, you have a kid who needs a new pot and a pan. You have an old pot and a pan that you want to get rid of. You're like, okay, well, they're kind of leeching off of me to get this thing, but you know what? I actually want a new pan anyway. So I'm going to treat myself to something new and get rid of the olds. And that old can be of service to someone else. It does say to shift from fear to love. And I really love that for this card too, because like when you think of a leech, you just think of something that like is, yeah, it is kind of spooky, or it's bad. And like I would say like this is like a less favorable animal to get. Like people usually have like a visceral negative feeling about this, but I really love that the mantra of this is shift from fear to love, because we are moving away from like this thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be bad to get rid of something. It actually can be good for, again, not only you, but for someone else. I was also having like a yoga class last week that literally the theme was like, what she said was like, how would it feel in my body if I were to move out of liberation, or out of love rather than fear? And I feel that a lot with this, like, because a lot of times, especially in yoga classes, like when you're doing movement around other people, you kind of feel a sense of performing. Like you're like, oh, I have to perform. I have to do each of these things perfectly, instead of giving yourself a freedom of like, oh, that move actually doesn't feel good there. I'm just going to go into, you know, downward dog, or I'm just going to go into child's pose, whatever. But like sometimes your thoughts can get in the way of like, oh, well, if I go into downward dog, or if I do something that's not like the rest of the class isn't doing, I'm going to stand out, and I'm going to like whatever thing you're building in your head. And I really love that this is inviting you to be like, well, how can you shift your movement or like your practice or whatever you're doing from feeling like it needs to be performed in a certain way into doing it in a way that fully honors you and where you're at, especially a practice like yoga, which is designed to help you and your body get in alignment and stretch and feel good in the ways that it needs to, rather than what other people are perceiving that you are doing. It's not, that's not what it's for. So this is really encouraging you to be surrounded by people who encourage this as well. Like, you don't be in a yoga studio. If, again, this is just one example, yoga studio, but don't be in a yoga studio that makes you feel fearful. Like, if everyone else is so good at it that you feel like you don't belong because you're not as good as everyone else or whatever, like, maybe that's not the environment for you to do that thing, because yoga is about meditation. It's a practice. It's not a perfect, right? So if you're so focused on being the perfect in an environment where you're supposed to be practicing, you're missing the point. So the spirit is calling you to evaluate. And now Frank is scratching her claws on the scratching post over there. So, you know, like, what's it going to take for you to, sharpen your claws of like, what's going to make me feel powerful? What's going to make me feel like I'm ready to take on the next thing that I need to do in all areas of your life? So where are the leeches, and how can we redirect that leeching energy to drain what needs to be drained and to not drain what's not necessary to drain? Okay. Then we have the leopard, which is all about embracing your uniqueness. So I feel like these do go really hand in hand well with what we were saying. It's like, you know, if you are going to be that person in yoga class that does things a little differently, you never know how your uniqueness could be offering someone else permission to also be unique, you know? So you liberating yourself offers liberation to other people, and not that we have the obligation to liberate other people, but we all are connected. So the more that we liberate ourselves, the more that other people are going to feel liberated, and then that can be a loop that can be reinforced within yourself. Because you know how many times I've told someone like, oh, you don't need to say sorry for something. You know, like, if you bump into me, you can always say, excuse me. You don't have to apologize for existing in space, you know? But then I'll apologize for the exact same thing to the exact same person sometimes. And then they can correct me and be like, hey, weren't you the one who told me to not apologize for those things? Like, you don't need to apologize for that either. You know, so the more that we, you know, stand in our uniqueness and embrace like our unique path and those kinds of things, the more that other people can help. It's good for everyone. That's the point of what's trying to be said here. So those are the overarching themes. They both are also very blue. So I would say this is especially important for using your voice. This is the throat chakra color, blue. So you might want to do maybe some meditations around strengthening your throat chakra, especially if you have to have a hard conversation or speaking up about things. But it really does seem that like this is a moment for you to use your voice in a more authentic way. It's okay to just as long as you're speaking from love and not fear, you're good. And as long as you're okay with speaking authentically and uniquely in the way that feels right for you, everything's going to be good. You know, the people who matter, they're going to be able to receive it in a way that it's going to work out fine. Even if it like rubs them the wrong way at first, you know, they're going to want to work with you because they care about you in the relationship. So I love that. Shift from fear to love and embrace your uniqueness. Those are great overarching messages. We have 2 more cards here that want to speak to you. And I'm trying to decide like what oh yeah, I actually kind of liked what we did in the first group, which is like, what do we want to embrace more of? What do we want to bring more in of? And then what do we want to release more of? So what do we want to bring in is the Crow, which is trust and transformation. And I love that this card came up too, because it's like a crow with a backdrop of the full moon. And that's what we're experiencing at the time of this recording. And when we're talking about full moons, we're talking about illuminating truths, illuminating things that can't normally be seen. Like again, at night, for example, when the full moon comes out, it's illuminating the dark. Whereas, you know, when it's not out, like during a new moon, it's all dark outside, so you can't see things as clearly. So this is a time that we're really embracing that, like, we can see things more clearly than we used to be able to. And we have to trust that where we are being guided is where we need to be. And we can trust that the universe has our back, even if it doesn't seem like it all the time. Because again, like sometimes our dreams don't come true exactly as we imagined them, so we're disappointed, but you never know how the universe really had your back and how some things can be blessings in disguise. Like maybe you got a flat tire and you need all new tires, but you meet someone at the tire shop who becomes your best friend, or you get a discount on tires that day that you wouldn't have gotten if you came any other day. You know, that actually happened to me. I was like, I just bought a new car and I was like, oh, winter's coming. I've got to get new tires. I was so bummed about it because I was like, well, it's a used car. It's a new used car, obviously. But I was like bummed because I was like, dang, I just forked over all this money to buy a car and now I have to spend more money to buy tires. And then I ended up getting like this great deal on really high end tires for the price of like low end tires. And I was like, you know what? I bet that was a blessing in disguise and I'm just going to accept it. Like, yeah, I had to spend money, but now I am safer on the road and I got it for a good price. So that's what the crow is telling you, is like, keep trying to like take on these perspectives of things are happening in your favor. They are not happening against you. So even if it feels dire, even if it feels bad, even if it feels like stressful, just know that it's guiding you in a way that will be honoring what your soul truly wants to unfold for you. So the more that you trust it and you don't fight it, the easier it'll be and the more energy that you'll have. Okay. What are you going to release? Oh, the coyote, which is illuminate your illusions. Look how similar these cards look. And look how similar these two cards look. I shuffled these, by the way. I know these two were stuck together, but these two were not. Whoa, coyote. They look so similar. So what we're releasing is illusions, like falsehoods, because when we're dreaming, sometimes we get caught in the fantasy and not the reality of things. And coyote comes in when we're supposed to be acknowledging some things are just not meant to be. Some things are not actually as realistic as maybe we think they are sometimes. This could also happen about like when we are putting things on other people and going back to the familial thing, like say like you're blaming your dad for all of your childhood trauma, and maybe part of it's true, but you know, you're an adult now. I mean, I'm assuming you're an adult if you're watching this. If you're younger, let me know. I don't know who watches these entirely, what demographics, but you know, as an adult, you can't keep blaming your dad for adult problems that you have now. Like, yes, he might have paved the way for things to be harder for you and for things to be challenging, but also it is up to you to resolve your own issues at some point in time. You know, you have to resolve your own, you're an adult, so you have to overcome some things on your own. Yeah. So that's just one of the illusions that can be brought up, or like, you know, certain family lores that get passed down that aren't actually true. Like, I don't know, did you have a grandparent that always told you that, oh yeah, we have ancestry of like Pocahontas, or like a Native American princess was our ancestry, whatever. Like most of the time that's actually a lie. So if you want to like truthfully know your origins, really uncover the truth. Like do genealogy, do your tests, do all those things to really see where you truly come from. And not all of those are always right or accurate, but it just does seem like there's certain veils that are being asked for you to lift and not see things through rose-colored glasses anymore. And it could also be about a relationship. This has been coming up a lot in this reading, so I do believe that there's got to be someone in like watching this reading that really needs to let go of a romantic connection or a relationship of some kind, because you're like, oh, well, maybe they'll change or whatever. And it's like, no. That person has shown you who they are over and over again. You need to stop deluding yourself and stop keeping yourself from the life you truly desire and dream of. Because I kind of lost my like rebooted brain right there. But basically the point is like, there's certain things that you're trying to hang on to that are interfering with your ability to take on these new things. Like you might be holding on to a friendship or a romantic partner that you're like, this is the one. Oh, we got a mouse. we got a kitty cat and a mouse, when really like maybe your dream person is right around the corner, but because you're clinging on so tightly to this other person, it's you can't then access what you truly desire. So I would just say there's just certain falsehoods about like even like friendships, like maybe like a certain friend isn't as close as you thought, and it's not, again, you don't need to like ban or cancel that person from your life. Oh, Frank, you look so cute with your little mouse. She just got her little mouse in her mouth. Do you like the mouse? She's like, are you done recording yet? She wants to play. So anyway, all in all, just try to be more aware of like what things that what excuses you're making for yourself or for other people in ways that are harming the reality of situations, that is then interfering with your dreams actually coming true, or truths to really come through that need to. And just trust, again, the transformation is what we're embracing. So don't hang on to things that are stagnant either. Like if something's showing its way out to you, like if your landlord's not re-signing your lease or whatever, and it's coming close to the time, it's like maybe you just cut your losses and move on, So don't be your own enemy by believing illusions that aren't real. And it does seem like whatever is coming through, like now it's like, what your illusions are, what you've been trying to ignore or trying to cover up or whatever. But this is saying like, be real, be for real, baby, be for real, and address it so then you can move forward with more happiness. Okay. The last thing we're going to do with this group is pick a good luck charm from the chicken here, the good luck chicken. It has a bunch of charms from all over the place in here, and I'm just going to randomly pick one that resonates with me. Oh, okay. Oh, we've got a pink flamingo, and flamingos are associated with uniqueness, so it goes back to this leopard thing. So your good luck is definitely going to be like maybe being the different one in the crowd. Like, you might be the black sheep, but maybe you're the black sheep that can be seen in the day, or like seen in the landscape that they need to be seen, So I feel you're standing on your own two legs. Flamingo medicine, your uniqueness is your strength, and don't be afraid to be different than other people, because that's what's going to be bringing you good luck, doing things differently, saying the thing that everyone else isn't saying. You might, I would say that you will probably actually get rewarded for that. Also, it is pink, which is associated with the heart chakra, which is all about listening to your soul's guidance. The heart knows the truth in a lot of ways. So if you're feeling a challenge in making a decision of some kind or moving forward in some kind of way, just know that you can always put your heart to your hand to your heart. Listen, again, not with the ears, but with the body, with the soul. And that will help inform you to make the decisions that are most aligned with your highest self and your highest path. Okay? Don't be afraid to stand out. I know, like, flamingos all look the same, but they all have very distinctive personalities. So you might look like everyone else. You might look, but at the end of the day, by you doing the thing a little differently, that's what makes you stand out. And that's what is going to give you the best luck for wherever you're going right now. So don't you forget that. Those are all the messages that I have for you, pile number 2s. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name's Bren, and I would love to hear from you. If you really loved this reading, please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, even share it with a friend who you think might be able to benefit from these messages. I'm always eager to build community and hear from you all. So again, please leave a comment if something resonated with you, or if it didn't, please let me know. And if you'd like to book a personal reading, I do more in-depth, like if you want more details and things like that that are specific to you, I do offer psychic astrology and tarot readings here in Denver, Colorado, or virtually. You can book with me on Fortune of the Fool for either one of those. And there's more information about that in the show notes, so feel free to check that out. Again, thank you so much for listening, my friends, and stay foolish. Bye now.